Hi, this is Philip Day from the Campaign for Truth in Medicine, and you're listening to Up Close and Personal for the eClub Bulletin dated September 2010. The purpose of these monthly updates is really to bring you up to speed on the latest stuff that's happening in health around the world, and we also have weekly health tips. So if you're new to this and want to sign up for it, just go ahead and click the appropriate button on the Credence homepage at www.credence.org. Firstly, there's been some news in the world media about Alzheimer's and the ability to reduce homocysteine levels in the body using three vitamins, B6, B9, B12. And the startling thing is that it's taken this long to come out. Homocysteine, which previously was an obscure part of body chemistry, has come to the fore in recent years with its links to heart disease, cognitive impairment problems, and various other issues. Levels over 13 micromoles per litre give cause for concern. So really, these tests will become much more common than they are at present. And if you're having blood work done, if you have a heart condition, or you have a relative, or you yourself are having memory problems, then get homocysteine levels measured. We can reduce these quite straightforwardly with B vitamin complex, specifically B6, B9 and B12. And these are in elevated doses, they're not in RDA doses. So Oxford University found that mild memory problems suffered by healthy people stopped getting worse when they took a high-dose combination B vitamin supplement. And ironically, one of the researchers said, it's amazing that we've not been able to find a drug that does this. Go figure. Children are being exploited to extend pharmaceutical patents. Want to protect your kids from high cholesterol? Just give them drugs like the new chewable form of Lipitor. Yes, chewable like candy. This is more marketing. In the recent weekly health tips, we've seen the case of New Zealand farmer Alan Smith, who was taken down with swine flu and also a form of leukemia, and against great opposition from his doctors managed to regain his health from a pretty hopeless situation just using vitamins. And just recently we've had Gwen Olsen coming out. She was a 15-year top drug executive who's found her conscience and come out. In fact, she's been out a while and started speaking about the danger of this just irresponsible marketing to not only adults but also to children now. That if your child is behaving in an aberrant fashion for whatever reason, then there's a drug to fix that. A decade later, genetic map yields few new cures. 10 years after President Bill Clinton announced that the first draft of the human genome was complete, medicine has yet to see any large part of the promised benefits. When they launched this whole program, and I remember it well, the promise was, oh, we're going to cure cancer, we're going to cure Alzheimer's, we're going to cure all of these once we uncrack the genetic code of the human being. Well, that hasn't happened primarily because they're looking in completely the wrong direction. You're going to find that these are all problems that are not suffered in so-called third world indigenous populations. So when we go and look at a non-industrialized nation and see what they're actually dying from, they are dying from things, but they're not the same diseases we're suffering from. And we get into that in Health Wars. High demand pushes up meat prices by 25% in 3 years. We're eating more meat than ever before, and market forces are driving many to seek alternatives. Little, however, is mentioned of the damage caused to human health by excess meat consumption. I've been on my high horse about meat now this year. It was one of the pet projects that I had lined up when I got back from Australia. I'm not strictly a vegetarian. I'm 100% plant-based, 100% raw, 95% of the time. Having said that, if my wife has had enough of lettuce and wants to go out for a curry, we go out and do that. But don't give me any old tosh about it doing you any nutritional good at all. We do find that when we reduce, and here's the balance, because right now there's a big fur fight going on between Joe McCullough and T. Colin Campbell, who's a professor out of Cornell University, over, do we eat meat, don't we eat meat, and all the rest of it. It's a question of degree. What Colin Campbell's China study found out is that if you have a diet whose meat or animal product component is in excess of 20%, you are making yourself vulnerable to quote-unquote fertilizing carcinogens and bad genes. In other words, we all have carcinogens, we've all got some genes we'd rather not have. It seems to be a high animal protein content that brings this stuff clinical. Anything under 10% and the margin is actually should be under 5%, we're not seeing those problems. So if you balk at the idea of going 100% plant-based, then my view is a balanced middle view based on the evidence that these diets, these peoples who are eating under 10%, certainly under 5%, are not getting these problems. Animal proteins create a number of issues in the body. They suck up valuable pancreatic enzymes which are used to police cancer in the body. Those of you who are veterans of my cancer book know about trypsin and chymotrypsin and how they machine off the protein coating of cancer cells. So this is valuable, and when you eat high levels of animal protein, these enzymes are used in the digestion process instead. We can supplement them, of course, but it's much better to actually get them in their natural form and to take them in accordingly. When we look also at cooked diets, animal products are invariably involved in cook recipes. So we're killing enzymes, destroying vitamin C, corrupting fats, and so the picture builds up. So I've gone hard on meat, really to get you to re-examine your own eating habits in this regard, because if we look in Western cultures, especially America and elsewhere with high meat consumption, especially red meat consumption, we're seeing all kinds of problems cropping up. Over the page, niacin to boost your HDL good cholesterol. Niacin, vitamin B3, interesting nutrient. Many of you have played around with it. We used to use it to get suntans in nightclubs in LA to show off to the girls when I was in my 20s. Vitamin B3. Niacin is actually known to do a number of things in the body. It boosts levels of HDL, or so-called good cholesterol, reduces LDL cholesterol. There are a number of different niacins around, so just do your homework on that. Bog standard niacin, which causes the skin flushing after about 20 minutes if you take anything in excess, usually of about 200 to 300 milligrams. The skin flushing is not harmful, it just prickles for a bit, and actually the more you use niacin, the less that flushing effect is in evidence. Osteoporosis, we profiled several conditions. Number one, Alzheimer's, so we've got a thing on that this month. Osteoporosis. On average, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 12 men over 50 suffer from osteoporosis in the Western cultures. The word actually means porous bones. The disease is all but unknown in those consuming agrarian diets. So, of course, this is the old acid-alkali problem going on in the body. The disease is most common in postmenopausal females, where as many as 1 in 4 may suffer the condition. I do get a lot of emails on this, especially menopausal, so-called flushing and osteoporosis, and you going in for these endless tests. Change your diet, start exercising. We have a whole regimen bullet pointed for you in this month's bulletin. Skin disorders, eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, tinea versicolor, and other colourful problems that have been cropping up. Skin conditions, of course, incredibly personal, especially if they're viewable when you're walking around. People hate them, it causes them to worry, and so we've got a whole section just going through the different types and what you can do. Diabetes, are you next? Today, nearly 24 million Americans have been diagnosed with diabetes. Again, we're going hard on this. This is Dr. Julian Whitaker's protocol that he walks you through in this article. Brain stimulation can help partially paralysed stroke patients regain use of their muscles. Stroke patients who were left partially paralysed found that their condition improved after receiving transcranial magnetic stimulation. So give that a look. And vitamin D roundup, Natural News, Mercola and FoodMatters.com, all contributing to the latest vitamin D results and research coming out. Gwyneth Paltrow shares her vitamin D deficiency diagnosis. Bless her heart, staying out of the sun to maintain that lovely, pure, English-looking skin, but that comes with a penalty. We need the sunlight. We don't need to fry ourselves, but we need the sunlight. Trouble with fish, looking at the latest analysis of whether or not it's right to eat fish. I remember when Dr. Joseph Mercola came out a while ago advocating that people did not eat fish. I thought that was a little alarmist. Recently I've gone back to some of those studies and looked at some new ones, and I'm now getting to the point where I think we've got to be very careful about the type of fish we're eating, especially commercial grade stuff. Rod Stewart, Penny Lancaster were trying for a child. When they tested Penny Lancaster, she was so full of mercury because she was eating fish 4 times a week. Did you know that vitamin C can treat over 30 major diseases? So there's a good article there on that. So lots going on this month. Some workshops coming up. Milton Keynes, Sunday the 3rd of October, Milton Keynes at the Holiday Inn just off the, Junction 14 of the M1. Do come along. We had a great one in Norwich the other day. There's lots of information here. And although it looks like a whole day, it really roars by. so you're not going to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs for very long. We've also got the Bristol workshop on Saturday the 9th of October, Stockport or Cheadle, should we say, outside Manchester on Sunday the 17th of October. We've got the Irish tour, which will comprise, it kicks off in Dublin on Tuesday the 19th of October, and consecutive days we're going Dublin, Cork, Killarney, Galway, and then back to Dublin for a cancer workshop on the Saturday there, the 23rd of October. So do come along for that. Nothing else to report for now. We're off on holiday for 10 days, which is going to be nice, off to the Canary Islands to toast up the blondes. So I guess we'll catch you on the flip side. Have a great September and October, and if there's anything we can do, don't hesitate to get in contact. Many thanks. Bye-bye.